Hiya! Thanks for being here today. Today I'm going to answer a very simple question from Philip Cooper, and that question is, how did I get the name Juliette Noir, and do I have any advice for people who are struggling to choose a name for the first time? Now, my story is actually very simple. My name, Juliette Noir, a lot of people assume that it's got something to do with my real name, or it's in some way connected to my real name. The thing for me is that I was going on online chat sites and I didn't look anything the way I do now. So I was going onto online chat rooms and I needed to find just something that I could put into a website to register my name. You can get email addresses and you can register your name. You can change your name multiple times. And at the time when I was doing this, it was really for websites like TV Chicks. And it wasn't for Facebook, it wasn't for introducing myself to people, very much online. And with that in mind, I didn't really feel a lot of pressure to make a permanent decision. It's not like I was choosing a name that I would introduce myself to people as, and I wasn't choosing a name that was going to be my identity. It wasn't going to be on my identification, for example. So I took the name Juliette really with inspiration from a character from a TV show, which is the character of Juliette Burke in Lost. As soon as that character arrived in the show, I loved her. I thought she was gorgeous. There was just something about her that I gravitated to, and I've weirdly enough, I've ended up with, let's say, sort of similar hair to the kind of hair she had in the show. And I loved it. I loved the name. I thought it was nice. It was definitely feminine, but it wasn't a plain name. It had a feminine sort of ring to it, and Juliette's a very famous character from Shakespeare, etc. So it seemed like a nice name, and I kind of settled on that, and I liked it. So that was where Juliette came from. Now the noir bit is really it's quite an odd reason why I chose the name Noir. It's nothing more complicated than the fact that at the time I had black hair. And so, because the Juliette looked kind of French, I Frenchified the word black into noir and became Juliette Noir. A lot of people assume that my name must be just in black or something like that in real life, and it isn't. My surname isn't black. I purely chose noir because of my hair colour. Now, I wear blonde more than I do black hair these days, and so it doesn't really fit, but it's my name. It's the one that I chose at the time, and I've stuck with it. Some people think that maybe it's because I like film noir. It isn't because I like film noir. I do quite like film noir, but it's really just as simple as choosing a word and converting it to French. So I picked Juliette Noir a long time ago, and I've just stuck with it ever since. I've never seen any reason to change it. I think if I was transitioning and if I were looking for a permanent future female name, I think I would probably stick with the Juliette, but I would change the surname, or possibly just revert to my own actual surname. And I know quite a few people who've done that already. So if you're looking for a name, my advice really is to not put too much pressure on yourself that this has to be the name that you will use forever and ever. There are plenty of ways in which you can change your name. You can, if you're just doing it for an online persona, you can try out different names, create different email accounts, create different online things, and just experiment with different stuff. It doesn't matter if you log on to TV Chicks and change your name every other week. Until you're making real friends in real life and you don't want to have a conversation with lots of people about, hi, my name is so-and-so, and then the next week you introduce yourself as something different. Unless you're doing that, then there's not really that much risk that you're going to massively confuse people or annoy anyone, let's put it that way. And I think there's room here for you to try different things and do stuff that is, experimental. Try different ideas. A lot of people, I'm fairly sure, will simply put a female slant on their own name, maybe changing the surname up a little bit. I know people who pick nice names of towns that they like as their surname. And there are plenty of people who simply, make up a random name. If you like, One thing I would do now for sure, and I'd say, and again, this is in a jokey way, if I were making up my name now, I absolutely would make up a name that would work for the TV show Toast of London. So there is a random generator you can find online. If you've ever seen that TV show, it's one of my favourite shows starring Matt Berry. In Toast of London, the names are always a kind of odd or an unusual first name, followed by a noun or verb as the surname. So you have people like Ray Purchase, Stephen Toast, and a kind of name would be something like Felicity Ennui would be an interesting Toast surname or a Toast name. And I think I would do something like that. As it turns out, Juliette Noir is kind of a bit toasty anyway in terms of its structure. It's quite a toast-like name, so I'm happy with it for that. Anything like that's good for you. I think if it's going to go on your passport, then I think the logical thing to do is keep your last name, change your first name, pick a name you like, and do something along those lines. But if it's for fun, have fun with it, enjoy it. At the end of the day, I could easily change my name. It's the kind of thing where in a couple of years' time, I could easily change probably the Noir bit. I think I'd stick with Juliette, but I could change the Noir bit. I'd have to explain to lots of people that I've changed my surname, but people would still address me as Juliette, and I wouldn't really have to do major updates to everyone that knows me, because they're still calling me by the name they've known me as. They're still calling me Juliette. And I think that's the main thing. Get your first name right, find something you like, make it up any way you like, and then surnames, last names, they can change all the time. They change when people get married. We're always used to changing surnames and adapting and doing stuff like that. So it's not something you really have to worry about. So I hope that was useful to you, Philip. I hope I'm able to give you some kind of insight into what I did, but also a little bit of advice on keeping it lighthearted and how you can go about doing something yourself. If anyone has any other questions, you can address me through my email, which is julietteisnoir@gmail.com, or you can get me through my website, which is www.julietnoir.uk. You'll find the links to both of those in the description of this video. They're in the description to all my videos. So if you've got any issues with understanding the email address I'm giving you, for example, just look in the description, you'll find it in there. So thank you for listening here today. Hope this was useful to you. Feel free to like, share and subscribe. Let me know if there's any comments in the comment section down below. Look forward to talking to you all again soon, and as ever, bye! Bye!